Hi, I'm Alix Paultre, and I'm with Karthik Ranjan, and he's with Semtech, and we're here at the Things Conference in Amsterdam. How's it going, Karthik?
Really good. So far, day one has been jam-packed with some great talks and phenomenal workshops, so it's been going really well.
Now, of course, Semtech's been here many times. How about you? Is this your first show, last show?
It's interesting. This was actually the last show that I did right before the pandemic, so I remember it very well. And I'm super happy to be back in Amsterdam again. And, you know, the Things Conference, they always put on a great show. So really happy and jazzed to be here.
You know, and when you think about it, a lot of people have told me how that the COVID crisis was almost like a perfect storm for remote technologies, because now you got to remote everything.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just, you know, when you have an environment where you don't have people going in the office, there's a lot of needs to be able to monitor things from afar. And so that's been really good for the LoRaWAN ecosystem for things like, you know, room occupancy, desk occupancy for smart building. Just, are workers coming back? Are workers not coming back? Do I need to buy more, rent more building space, or do I shut down what I have? You know, so there's a lot of challenges that LoRaWAN has been able to help with during the pandemic.
Well, you know, and that also connects to some of the other aspects, because we always talk about the hardware. We're always talking about the software solutions, the hardware solutions, the bits and pieces, as it were, in this huge ecosystem. But there are also the people and the partnerships and the working relationships. What are your views on that whole aspect of the human relationship, the human ecosystem?
Yeah, it's one of the most important parts of LoRaWAN, Alix. As you know, the success of LoRaWAN is predicated on the people that work together. LoRaWAN would not be possible if Semtech didn't create chips, which OEMs can create products with, that interoperate with gateways, that connect to networks, network servers, that then are built applications, right? And those applications get built by enterprises, by system integrators, small system integrators like Oxit and Tensor IoT, and all the way up to very large integrators like Cognizant and others.
Well, you know, when you think about that whole partner ecosystem, are there specific currents, as it were? Are there any special interest groups gelling out there, or is it all a relatively flat plane of everyone trying to access for all verticals or something along those lines?
Yeah, no, it is definitely. There are companies that specialize in different verticals. And so you have, on the hardware side, on the device side, for example, you have a diversity of some sensor vendors specialize in indoor, right? So you're doing air quality, you're doing temperature sensing, you're doing leak detection. And then you have that all the way into companies that are building the cow tracker collar, right? All the way to pest traps.
Buffalo in Africa.
Exactly. I'm picking some of the really exciting use cases, but that's the beauty of the ecosystems. You have diversity on the device, but it's not just on the devices, Alix. It's also on the gateways, right? You have indoor gateways, you have outdoor gateways. You have gateways with cellular backhaul, gateways with Ethernet backhaul. So that
Wi-Fi 6.
And Wi-Fi 6 potentially as a backhaul. All of those things wouldn't be possible if you didn't have the LoRaWAN standard that enables all these devices to interoperate. So you have choice and confidence that no matter what gateway you buy for whatever application, they will all work with that same sensor you bought and that same network server you bought, and ultimately that application that you build. And so this is one of the reasons why we see, for example, solution providers and system integrators choosing LoRaWAN is they have that diversity of players within the ecosystem to choose from.
Well, you know, no pun intended, but there are a lot of moving parts out there, right? You know,
Yes.
this devices, it's software, it's deployments, it's the ecosystem, it's the infrastructure. It is a lot to keep on top of.
It is, and that's where you have, you know, specialists like solution providers in the LoRaWAN ecosystem who specialize in cow tracking, right? And what I mean by that is they're not just selling you a collar and say good luck. They are actually providing the collar with a cloud service, maybe even a mobile app that you use to track the cow with. They have the geofence for the cow. They have built, for example, machine learning algorithms in the collar to know when the cow sits, when the cow sleeps, when the cow's pregnant, you know, any number of things. And that's the innovation around Internet of Things, right? Certainly LoRaWAN enables the communication, but Alix, the opportunity for innovation on the application, the sky's the limit.
Well, Karthik, when you think about that, you're right. The sky is the limit. Do you see bubbles? Do you see spaces where, I kind of alluded to it earlier, where people get it, as it were, versus the spaces where the people are still an educational cell away?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So there are a lot of markets that are very mature for LoRaWAN, right? Utilities, it's a no-brainer. I'm not going to drive around and read people's meters anymore. That's done. And what's really exciting is that technologies are coming together, right? So utilities who now have converted and added LoRaWAN for their smart meters, and especially here in Europe, Alix, they're saying, oh my gosh, gas prices are really high, inventory's not there. We got to reduce consumption. And when you talk about reducing consumption, what else can IoT do now that I've got these smart meters to help with that? So then you start getting into building management services, right? Why am I heating this room, this floor, if nobody's there? Can I turn off the HVAC in this floor? Can I move people? Can I shut down floors and move people to these other meeting rooms? Because, hey, it's only at 25% occupancy. So if I can compress floors usage in my building down to a few, it's all about saving energy. And again, that brings more use cases into the mix around room occupancy, desk occupancy, common area utilization, and it helps save cost as well as energy for a lot of companies. So there's a lot of excitement right now around that specific use case.
Well, and also it strikes me that there's a lot of integration going on that's potential as well, because if I'm doing occupancy, I can do security monitoring, or if I'm doing geolocation, I might have a sensitive asset that I have, even though it's a fixed asset, I could put geolocation on it. So that file cabinet moved. It's not supposed to move,
Well, you hit the nail on the head, right? It starts building into things like, okay, what else can I do with the data that's useful? And that data happens to be useful for people outside of what that actual use case is. And you gave a very good example.
Thank you. Well, I'm listening to all of you smart people come through here telling me all of these cool things, But when you think about that whole aspect, the ecosystem and the partner ecosystem, are you seeing maybe special interest groups forming? Are you seeing organizations for specific application verticals forming? Or is it still pretty much a community talking to everyone?
No, we do. Actually, this is a very horizontal event, right, here at the Things Conference. It's around LoRaWAN, which is a horizontal IoT technology. What you have is LoRaWAN actually going into the industry verticals. So if you go into, I believe it's called ASE, the American Society of Water, right? It's basically all the water utilities coming. There you will find a LoRaWAN booth there, and you will see the ecosystem come together with that community talking about how LoRaWAN can solve problems for that vertical. And the same thing happens at the building shows. Same thing happens at the agriculture show. Same thing happens at utility shows. This is an environment where, although LoRaWAN is a horizontal technology, it is very vertical, especially when it gets down to the sensor, when it gets to the application. It's about solving that problem and driving business outcomes. That's the conversation you're having with customers at these vertical environments and giving them the comfort that LoRaWAN is an industry standard.
Very cool. Now, Karthik, when you think about it, as you were saying, there are some areas that are still not there. How does someone get involved? Let's say they do want to get involved. They call you up? No, but they could probably. But where do they follow? Who do they go to?
There's a few pointers I can give them. The Things Industries, I know this is their show, but they do put a lot of great information up on their site. I have to say, frequency bands. They have a great page that lists it all out. They do a lot of education, so definitely check their site out. The LoRa Alliance itself has a really good site. It talks about the partners. You can even join the LoRa Alliance. Highly recommend joining that group because you get to network, understand the ecosystem. And then, of course, come work with Semtech. Come talk to us. We'd be very happy to get you on board and introduce you to who you need to get going in the ecosystem. It's a great environment. See a lot of growth here, a lot of new exciting products that are coming on the market that I hadn't seen before, and it's a great time to get involved with LoRaWAN.
I couldn't agree more, Karthik. It really is cool, exciting, dynamic, really fun.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me, Alix.
Well, that's what I'm supposed to say. Thank you. No, obviously, it's really cool to chat with you again. And it's such promising time. So many cool, interesting things are over the horizon that we haven't even attached yet.
Absolutely. It's really, really exciting. And there's more coming. There's definitely more coming.
Agreed. Thanks again so much.
Don't forget to check out the cow collar before you leave, Alex. A little orange cow collar over there.
I will do so.
All right.
And for all of you, don't forget, our next segment is going to be with Santoran Raghavan from Laird, and we're going to be talking about key LoRaWAN applications.